So good evening. Good evening everyone. So today we are going to discuss about EDA process, which means exploratory data analysis in data analysis or data science in any projects. So in generally, what is EDA process? So EDA process, it's just an investing less or any form of hypothesis in that based on our understanding in that data sets. And also EDA, it just involves the generating summary statistics for the numerical data which contains in these data sets, and also we can able to creating some various graphical representation to understanding the data set. Also we can able to get information from the data set with the help of EDA process. Like there will be a many steps will be there for implementing this EDA process. So first of all, EDA is generally EDA components are called as basically three projects, three packages are there. The first one is an pandas and Numpy, and that Zbone and Matplotlib. So in generally pandas, which is helps to use for the data handling processes, which is nothing but data manipulation. With the help of pandas, we can able to make that data frames, and also we can able to make the data pre-processing steps, and also we can identify, or we need to we need to get some information about that data set. With the help of pandas, we can able to achieve that. And the next thing is a Numpy. So Numpy, it's just an working progressor for with the help of scientific or any array calculations. In generally, we can say with Numpy, it's used for a linear calculations. And the Matplotlib and the Zbone, which is helps to do the graphical representations based on our data, how we are forced to do that values, that and all things. And today we are going to cover this EDA process in the Python with the help of Python programming languages, and also we are proceeding with that one simple data set will be there. So first of all, let me show you the data set first. So this is my data set which I have collected from internet. So this data set is just containing how the students are getting marks and how the students are getting how the students are performed in their examinations. So in generally, here we have collecting the futures. What are the futures we have collected? So gender, and here race or ethnicity. Next is an parent level of education, and lunch how they have been, and what is the test preparation course, and mathematical score, and reading score, and writing score. So in this specific data set, we have collecting in three subjects. Based on these three subjects, we can able to we just able to proceed with that comparison, how the students they can able to performed in that particular examinations. So for example, if you have performing with that EDA process, first you must need a data set, because data set is one of the most important. Without the data set, you can't able to give any kind of information to that machine. So that we have to download, or we need to get more amount of data from the past experiences. So next thing is I'm just going. I have how I am going to achieve this. How I am going to implement this EDA process in that Python programming. Here I am just using the tool which is nothing but Anaconda Navigator. So this is a front interface of Anaconda Navigator. So this is a home page of Anaconda interface, and in that Anaconda Navigator. So how can we download it? I just download it from that website of anacondanavigator.org. From itself, I can collect it, and I just download it. And I have to proceed that normal installations only, which is not more complex comparing to any other tools installation. It's which is similar to our mobile app installations only. So and which is not necessary to install the Python as well, as because it's an interpreter which is it inbuiltly have a Python in Anaconda Navigator. So in that Anaconda Navigator, how we are going to proceed with that, and what is the tool, because many of these tools will be there. So in that tool, I am going to achieve this EDA process with the help of Jupyter Notebook. So I already launched it here. So Jupyter Notebook, you are just clicking that launch button. So it just takes some time. So this is my home pages of Jupyter Notebook. So here I am going to placement, where I have to use that, where I have to create that data, where I have to create the Python codings, and where I have to return that Python file, that and all things I have. So I already create the folder for this EDA, so which is appeared on desktop. So I'm just opening my directory to create the new files. So in that particular data set file, I mean in that particular folder I only have a data set, the data set which is a format of CSV. So now I'm just going to make a one simple Python. How should we make means, here just go to that new and Python 3. So instead of, if you are not having any Anaconda Navigator tool in your system, you can directly use that online compiler, which is nothing but Google Colab. So Google Colab, which also you can able to achieve any kind of EDA process, which is also one of the Jupyter Notebook only. So Google Colab. Okay. So first of all, what we are going to do. So I already told about you, as earlier we said, that components of EDA processor is main process is 3R only, or that 3 only. First thing is a Numpy, Pandas, and Matplotlib and Zbond. We are going to use these packages to achieving this EDA processor. Let me show you how to implement this, how to import in these packages. Import Numpy as NP. So here Numpy is our module name, as NP, which is nothing but it's just an asynchronous name which is refers wherever we can accessing this NP based on Numpy packages. Based on this NP value, NP variable, we can accessible from anywhere in the place of EDA processor. Then next thing is an import pandas as PD. Any name you can able to give. So let me I am giving this PD matplotlib .pyplot as PLT and percentage of matplotlib dot or else inline okay. So these are the modules which we are going to use for our EDA process. Okay. So first thing is then I already said why we have used this Numpy and so Numpy it's for a linear regression, and Pandas it is used for the data manipulation, and the Matplotlib and the Zbond which is helps to do that graphical representations in our data. So for insights of the raw amount of data set, we can able to extract with the help of graphical representation, which is nothing but visualizations only. So we want to improve, we want to import the visualization in our project, means we can use these packages. Many of the packages will be there, but most probably we can use this Matplotlib and Zbond. With the help of these things, we can able to achieving many number of visualization like bar chart, bar plot and chart plot, and line plot, scatter plot. So like this, many of these laterly I will show you too. And after importing these packages, how should we run means, go to that run button. When that star it will be converted into the numeric format, your particular block has been executed. Okay. So the next thing is then, now we have imported our all the record packages. Then we need to read our data set. So how with the help of pandas only I am going to read my data set. So I just creating. Okay. So and specifically you have checked whether the data set and that you have created file which is on same folder. If it is the data set is in another folder, means you can you must be mention the path for the data set locations in here. So but in my cases I have same folder only, so directly I have to call the data set here, student performance.csv. So now I am just reading. So if I need to print my data set easily, so data sets, our variable name, So all the data set which has been stored into our new variable name in data set. So data set dot head of function. So this head of function, which is how our data set which is looks like. So it just generating that output. So this is our data set. Already we just saw it in an Excel format, which here we have read and we stored it into that one variable name. So here that head of function, it having some ranges will be there. You can give any ranges, it will be run based on that particular ranges only, which is nothing but already you previously we saw that in the list range functions, same process only. So the next thing is then this is going to implement. Now I am going to implement descriptive functions, descriptive statistics. How can I achieve means by assigning we will use describe of for this method. So data sets dot describe of. In that describe of, if you have to call the including all. So by assigning include attribute a value of all, we can make sure that the categorical of futures also included into that result. If you have not called include all value, which is only represent that numerical values, I'll show you the differentiation. Now it's without including all parameter attribute. Now I am adding include all. You can see it just it just describing each and every how the data set which is looks like what we want to do the process. So easily everything has been described about this data set. So we can from this describe functionalities, we can able to see how many counts will be there in each and every features, how it containing, if there is any null values are there, and we can able to check how many of unique percentages values will be there for every percentage, how many unique values are there in the each and every features we can able to check. So this process will be called as an descriptive statistics. The next thing is that for numerical parameters, fields or like a mean, standard deviation in this descriptive function, percentiles. So it just have been populated maximum for any categorical features, count, unique, top. So it is most frequent value and which is having a corresponding frequencies, and also it will be giving a more idea about our data sets. So after descripting, we have to check about whether what kind of values are missing. We already identified. So missing value imputation we are going to implement in the next process. So how to do that process? So now we identified the numeric, our data set will having a missing values. So how to check the missing values in our data set? So in these kind of cases, we have to check if there is any missing categories will be there or not. So for example, not only missing values, if there is any appropriate values, for example, categorical features or any median or mean for the particular numerical features is there or not. So for these kind of process, we can use the is null of function. So here I am going to use data set, our variable name is null of. So this is null of function which just describing how many numerical values, how many values are there. It's just describing true or false, if there is or not, or like that, it's just explaining. Now I am going to check somewhere that numeric count will be there. So in our data set, fortunately there is no missing values in the data set. So directly we can go with that, we can proceed with that analytics work with the help of this data set. So we can able to observing the patterns, and we can able to identify the outliers with the help of graphicals and the figures with the help of matplotlib and the zbond. So the first graphical representation which we have gone with some univariant analysis. For example, the bar graph. So bar graph, for this purpose we can use this bar graph, and we will look at this the distribution of students across this gender and race or ethnic other features, we can just pass any two values in that for plotting that bar plot. Let me show you. First, plt dot subplot 221 df data sets of, I am getting value gender dot value counts. Let me finish the code and I will explain you. Okay, so here you can see I'm just plotting that figure subplotting ratio, and the next thing is then here the data set of gender value I have taken from here, and I am just counting the values for the female and the male, and I am going to plotting my bar chart. So here you can check I am passing the value in the inside this parenthesis, which is nothing but kind equal to bar, and title of my graph is gender of student, and my figure size is 16 bar 9, and my height is 9, I mean my height is 16 and my width is 9, like that I have to mention it here. And same like I can able to plot many of the plots here, like it is nothing but I have to take another count, for example race and ethnicity I have to take, and also I have to take lunch values, and also I can test preparation scores. So for example in simply we can able to make the z-bar graph SNS dot count plot. Directly I can pass the data is equal to data sets of, I am passing any values, any numerical values is there, no, I have to pass like that values. For example count plant, I have to pass race and ethnicity. You can see the same, sorry, only numerical value it will be it will be generated. Let me show you the another visualization. So data sets, let me finish the code and I will explain to you. plt dot xtics which is nothing but x labels. Here is there no female and male, it's I'm just rotating with some kind of value, some kind of ratio, so I can able to give that rotation value here, rotation equal to 0. And now I am just going to plotting the next plot. So plt is a subplot I'm just identifying 2 and next thing is an data sets. The same I have another value here for the plotting. So I am just passing race and ethnicity dot same value of value counts of plots. I am going to call the same, like first I need to call kinds it's a style. So bar, next thing is an title. So title, whatever you need to represent in your it's just appear in your graph, you can give to any title. So I'm just giving race or ethnicity. There is no figure size because I already plotted here, no. So here you can see the same graph. So which is nothing but how we have to do the process in variety of things as will be there. So you can able to with the help of bar chart, you can able to analyze the data, how many values are there and which value. So from this graph, what we are understanding, we can infer many things from this graph. There are more number of girls in the school, I mean more than boys, the girls are more, will be more they have to then, and the majority of the students, they have belongs from group C and group D. More than 60% of students, they have came with that group C and D. So also we can able to check the next possibilities what we have to pass. We can check there will be any lunches will be there, how many students they have to they have not taken any test preparations course, like that we have to check. So the next procedure, that only, let me show you here, that same process only. I will show you that process. I am just changing the value. So first I am passing lunch, then I am passing test preparation course, if they have taken or not, like that I have to see it here. Okay, you can see, you can from this graph we can easily identify more than the 60% of students, they have standard lunch at their schools. Okay, so same like the next graph, which is represents almost above 50% of students, they have not taken any special courses for that test preparations. So continue within same bar plot, we can able to making many of these visualization. So first we have seen this bar plot. Next we are going to do the another process. Next we are going to make box plot with the help of same like data sets only. It's kind of pandas that only. So when we have passed the, when we are going to making the box plot, it only supports the numerical columns. So in our project, in our data set, there will be a 3 features which containing the numerical values. One is math score, reading score and returning score, for with the help box plot. Okay, so let me show you also this, how the box plot will be helping us means, it just visualizing the data in terms of qualities. Okay, and also we can able to identify the outliers in the data set. If any means, we will be use the box plot function for this particular data set. So here data set variable name only. So data set dot, we directly can call the box plot because it only supports the numerical value, no. So directly we can call the box plot. So from this math score and reading score, the middle portion which represents the interquartile of range, which is nothing but IQR, and the horizontal green line will be there, no. This horizontal green line which is representing the median of each data, and the hollow circles, and these are the circles which near the tails, which is represent the what are the outliers in our data set has been contained. So however, since it is very much of possible for every student to score extremely low marks in the test, we have not, or else we will not removing those outliers from this data set. And the next process, we have to make another distributions plot. so distribution plot, which is nothing but it's kind of wavelet format. So we will now now going to make the distribution plot with the help of math score of the students. So the math score already the data set which is contains, and from the distribution plots what we are going to tell how the data has been distributed, and how can we call the distributed plots. Distribution plots mean with the help of Seaborn packages only. So SNS dot distribute this plot, and we have to call the data sets math score. You can see the wavelet form. So these are the thing is there, and this is called as an disklet form. Actually we can able to see how much of the math score will be there. So in generally the graph, this graph will be represent perfect bell graph very closely. Okay, and also the peak it is around 65 marks. The average of the math score of every students in this data set, and a similar distribution plot we can able to make with the help of reading scores and the writing scores. Let me show you. So same like reading score and also writing score will be there. You can check that what is the peak value from this distributions plot. We can easily identify this data how it has been distributed with the help of our data set. So the next thing is up to till we have seen about 3 different kind of plotting. So the first thing is an bar chart, the next thing is an distribution, and final thing is an distribution and outlier. Box plot we have chicken, bar and box and distribution. The next we are going to see about correlation heat map. So actually this correlation heat map which is also supporting for the numerical values. So I need to identify the relationship between these 3 scores, which is one is math score, reading score and writing score. So how can I be approaching that? How can I express means with the help of correlation heat map only. So how first I have to call the core of function, and then I have to plotting with the help of heat map of function. So let me show you the functionalities. So first I have taken the correlation value. So data sets correlation value is equal to datasets dot c over of. With the help of this function I can able to get the value. Then I am going to plotting this value. So how? With the help of heat map of function. So SNS dot heat map. Here I have to pass 3 parameters. First we need to pass the where the value we have stored, correlation value and annotation, if there is any annotation needed or not. So if needed means you can put the true keyword, and square shape, the shape I have mentioned it square, so true. Next I am just making plt dot ytix rotation is equal to 0, and finally plt dot show off. You can see the correlation heat map here. So this is the correlation heat map for our data set for the specifically these 3 scores. Okay, the heat map which shows that the 3 scores are highly correlated, and also this reading score having correlations coefficient of 0.9.5% with the writing score. You can see these analytics, and same like the math score with having a correlations with 0.82 with the reading score. So 0.80 is for writing score and that with this writing score, okay, 0.80. The next thing is that actually this main perspective, I mean, what is the main use of this plt dot show plt dot sns dot heat mapper function? It's just generating the relation here. It is nothing but bivariant analytics. So bivariant, how can we achieve? So we have to achieve with the help of relational plot. So relational plot, how we can call? With the help of Zbond packages only, and with the help of relational plot we can easily understand the relationship between the two different variables of two different subset of the two different features of the data sets. And also we can able to understand the relationship between these mathing score or writing score of the students within different genders. Okay, so let me show you. I will write the code sns dots relational plot. So rel plots, first I have passed the x value from where I have taken math score. So math the score, then the y value I am getting writing score, and q is equal to gender. Finally we have to pass where the data we have collected from the data set itself. You can see the scatter plot, relational plot. So from this so for same math score and the math score for the female students are more higher writing score than male students. From these analytics, however, for the same writing score for male students are expected to having a higher math score better than the female students. So same like relational plots, which is helps to containing many of the bivariant analytics. So we can able to put it many kind of relational plots, which is based on this based with the help of Seaborn packages. So then the final part, I mean this finally we have to put it this performance in these kind of how we can comparing. What is the main we can use for that? For analyzing the students in students performance in math and reading and writing based on this based on their level of educations of parents and the test preparation scores. For these kind of performance analysis, first we have to look at impact of the parents, how they have to use the level of education children's performance. So how we can achieve with the help of grouping we can able to solve this problem. So let me finish the code right now. Data sets, so here you can see the bar chart, I mean line graph. I'll show you clearly. So here it is very clear from this graph that students whose parents are more educated than others. So in this each and every line you can see the legends inside this graph. You can see the legends easily. It mentioned the green line, the blue line, what it denotes. I will zoom it. So, and are performing better than. So better than average students whose parents are less educated. From this graph easily we can analytics that. So the next process is, and in how the students environment, the differentiation from this graph will show, we can able to identify how their students environment at the home. Moreover, the educated parents are more likely push their students towards studies purposes only. Okay, from this purpose easily we can understand. So first we are grouping with their students parents education level courses of then next thing is then we are going to grouping with horizontal graph for with the help of test preparations group. Let me show you data set dots group by test preparation courses same like what are the values which we have passed earlier, same values, math score, comma, reading score, these are the values because the space also which is most important. Writing score dot mean of dot t dot plot of. Here I am just assigning the bar charts and also I am mentioning the figure size. Is this nothing but here so here you can see the test preparations, the legends or will be there. So again we can easily clear the students who have completed the test preparations course or how the students are performing their education skills like that. So similar like many of these plottings will be there. For example, you can make that chart plot, chart plot. Chart means like pie chart. The circle will be there. No? That also we can able to. So in mainly the EDA process, which is more crucial role, which has been getting in more amount of data, we can able to get it from this from the raw data. Okay, so that is the most important thing which has been applied in this data science process. Do you have any doubts? You can ask it in the chat box. So there is no issue whether we can use the same PC for installing Anaconda Navigator for the users. There is no use for that. There is no issue with that. We can proceed with that same installation process. So with the help of Anaconda, we can able to making the group of links like group of projects also we can able to make it. Have anybody doubts, you can ask it. So the positive correlation, which is nothing but it's just representing, or it's just it's just representing that relationship between the two variables or two futures, and with the help of that two variables relationship, we can able to check how that futures are more important to the procedures while training that machine. Okay, everyone having getting some amount of knowledges which is from this EDA process. So I will just pin in the attendance link into this chats. So hope everyone in this session. So we will meet it on tomorrow. Thank you. Just fill that attendance link, you can able to get that certificates. Okay, tomorrow we are going to see about how we can train the model and how we can do that mathematicals like that. Okay, thank you everyone. I will just end up the session right now. Hope everyone has been filled that attendance link.